Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Tags. It is Saturday, October the 14th. Hopefully you all made it through yesterday. I know a lot of us had a lot of close calls, I'm sure, but here we are. Saturday night, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle night once again in the Tags universe. I got a great crew with us this evening, so let's jump right into it. Our first artist this evening is artist number one. It's Casey. Why don't you tell us what you can do, Casey, and give us the stats on yourself real fast.
Stats are Casey Wilson art at all of the different social media, although goodness knows I don't post as much as I technically ought to these days, but that's all right. I'm super excited for tonight. I'm really, really, really excited.
Do you know what you're drawing yet?
Yes, I was flipping through all of my old notebooks looking for something that I wanted to try and improve on because there are some pictures or poses that I'll try over and over until I get it right.
Uh-huh.
And there's one that I really like that I can't figure out how it would fit into a setting or a story. So I'm just going to do it for you guys.
Okay. There you
And it's basically Don and Leo, and the way they're standing, both of them are preventing each other from drawing their weapons or using them. But it's like, it's static, it's staged, it's interesting, it's whatever. You'll see.
And are you doing it in your usual style, the watercolors?
This time I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
There's a style I'll do sometimes on toned paper that goes in with pencil shading. Rob had gotten my Leo that did that. I could probably post that in the chat. People want to see his style.
I do remember that one. Yeah, that was a great one.
Yay.
All right. Our second artist this evening is Steve. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you're going to do.
My name's Stephen King. Find me on Art of Stephen King on Facebook and Instagram. Just going to mess around and do this large-scale group shot of the four turtles tonight. Was thinking about trying to fit in a Halloween theme for tonight, but I actually just ran out of all creativity over the last few days. Been doing Villaintober with a couple guys, and so I've been a little bit art burnout, so I just figured I'd do a quick, easy, large-scale group shot. So
it looks cool. It I don't know if you have it upside down or not, but it might be upside down.
It just might be my camera.
Okay. Our third artist this evening, just waking up over from the other side of the world, we have Camillo. Camillo, introduce yourself and tell us where they can find your deets.
Hey everybody, you can find me on Instagram at instacam_ILLO or on Facebook at Camillo Art. Me and Steve have been busy, man. We've been doing Villaintober this month.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the prompts for Villaintober was Bebop, and I had drawn a barbarian Bebop. So today I'm going to do a barbarian shredder to go with him.
Cool.
Yeah.
That looks better, Steven, just by the way.
Awesome.
Okay. And what time is it there over in Aussie land?
It's 10 a.m., which is it's a normal time to get up, but for me, it's pretty early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. You're Australian and a vampire. Cool. And our fourth artist this evening, who is a surprise to everyone, including the host and the artist himself. We have Mike. Awesome.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Okay. I see. Everybody can keep talking amongst themselves for a second. I gotta just kind of do something here. So.
Sure. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yep. I can totally relate that to the reader glasses thing. That's for sure. All right, I fixed everything. We're good now, people.
All
Thanks
right.
for buying me time. You're a great team. Mike, I know we were just talking about it a little bit before, and in case nobody else is familiar with it, and it's so appropriate for this evening, why not talk about that big turtle game announcement that was earlier this week?
Yeah, TMNT and Other Strangeness is being remade, being released in a deluxe hardcover edition with the original content, and I believe there'll be a lot more cool illustrations and new content as well. And yeah, it's just very exciting. I love the game, and I think it's a game where a lot of people weren't sure if it was ever going to be remade or re-released because of the fact that the IP is owned by all different people, toy companies and comic books, and licensed by all different sort of people. But
For sure.
yeah, it's amazing that it's happening again. I always loved the Palladium game system. I've been playing them since I was about 11 years old, back in the mid '80s, and I remember the Turtles game very fondly. And yeah, I'm super excited to see a new edition for sure. I'll be back in that Kickstarter, absolutely.
It is a Kickstarter, right?
There will be, yeah, there will be a Kickstarter coming. Yeah. From what I
Whoever's
understand.
cat that is, can we see it, please?
He's not very friendly right now because I won't let him out on the sun porch.
If I ever need to rest my hands, I'll go show you our. I'll get up and go show you our surprise new pet.
What is it?
So my daughter went out for snacks with her friend,
Okay.
and she came home with a rat that she had gone. They'd walked into a pet store just to window shop, and there was like a little cage, and they were labeled feeder rats, and there was one little girl in there, and she was like, "Mom, they're gonna feed her to a snake." So she, instead of a muffin, she got a rat. And
Is the rat named Muffin now?
no, actually,
Oh,
she's
kids
more-
don't have irony nowadays, man.
No, my daughter is more morbid than that. Rat was going to be eaten, so rat is beef.
Beef, that's cool.
Yeah, my husband hates it. He keeps calling her like Marie Antoinette or something.
Sorry, I had to get rid of my little furry friend there. He's driving me crazy. Camillo, I used to do that stuff all the time when I was a kid. Whatever it's called, the light box or whatever. I used to do that so much as a kid. I loved doing that.
Yeah, man, I always do my roughs on an iPad now.
Mhm.
I used to do my roughs on a separate piece of paper, and then I was just wasting ink and stuff. So I do it on an iPad, and I go through maybe one light pad every month to 6 weeks, because like I lean up against the cord, so it breaks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every like 6 weeks, I can buy myself a new one.
Man, I want to get a couple more of those. I love the those really nice thin ones. I remember when I ordered one years ago. It took forever to get to me. It got lost in the mail or something. It ended up taking like 6 months extra long to get to me. When it finally arrived, I remember thinking I'd been ripped off because this box that showed up in my mailbox just felt like empty, totally empty. Got it inside, it was thinner than a piece of cardboard, and I was like, "How does this thing even work?" And I love that. I love those things, but the cord design is horrible because it's easy to lean on, and it's easy to like. It's just not protected in any way. It's just like. It's kind of super delicate, you know.
Almost like it's designed that way.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it is. Yeah, you know, built-in obsolescence, I guess. But yeah, they're really great tools. I've been starting to use mine a little bit more. I used to be kind of too afraid to do any inking directly on the light box, and I would instead opt to either print out blue lines on like Bristol board if I can run Bristol board through the printer, if I do the drawing digitally, or I would kind of do a carbon rubbing or like a chalk rubbing on the back and do a overdraw. But light box is nice when you're actually using paper that you can see through. A lot of the paper I use, the light box won't penetrate, so I have to use the kind of old school carbon method.
Mm-hmm. I like your carbon method. I always find it so neat when you make your own, like tracing carbon paper or whatever it is there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I making sense to you? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a really old trick, easy trick. Works well.
Totally free. Also a concern sometimes.
What's that? Sorry?
I said it's also free, which is a concern sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you got anything you can make. I mean, if you got a fire pit or any access to make a fire, you can make your own charcoal very easily and have it as a transfer tool, like handy at the ready all the time. You know.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, that's coming from the master of the man that can use anything, whatever's in reach. The man, the art. Whatever. I figured out a cool name for you the other day. What did I say? The art of necessity or something like that.
I don't know. It's not everything. There's some things that definitely, they'll make a mark on a page, but it's not something you want to have to fight with for a whole drawing. But it's it can be fun. Some of them, I've been kind of dying off this month from it, to be honest. I've been too tired, and I haven't really been able to even spend a few minutes doing the quick drawings, like the quick junky found object ones. So I'm about 4 or 5 or 6 days behind now, and it just feels like I'm not going to catch up. So I'm not going to get bummed out about it. I'll do them if I can, kind of thing. But I'm not gonna sweat it. There's way more important stuff to be sweating right now than that. So
sure. Has everybody here tonight seen the new Turtle movie?
Yes.
I haven't yet, actually. I hope to soon.
Yeah.
It's on streaming now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one that I don't get, but I would like
to. I think it's on Paramount.
Where is it? Now I want to know.
It's on Paramount, I think. Yeah,
it's Paramount.
I've already got a few things already like kind of going, and I'm trying to put a limit on what I've already got. So eventually it'll come to one of the ones that I have, and I'll watch it.
Well, I'm not an artist, so I don't have anything to contribute to this show besides banter and wit. But I did come prepared for Turtle Show and Tell because I got some cool stuff in the mail this week from Ninja Turtle related stuff. So. I got the last Rona number 1, 9.8.
Nice.
And these ones are kind of crappy, get graded because they're like the magazine size, right? They're not normal size.
Yeah, they took forever to get turned around at CGC.
Yeah. I got the same thing again, but the 1 in 10. With the Wicked Eastman cover. I've had a bunch of these forever and just kind of sent them in all at once. Got the same thing as well, but signed. I got the. Oh, this is weird. This is the ash can that came out, and then they decided to go and redesign the whole book again afterwards. So I got that signed.
Oh, cool.
Andy Kuhn one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's that, and then I have some old '80s goodies behind me that I can show afterwards too. So stay tuned, people of the audience.
Sitting here trying to remember my musculature.
You guys getting ready for Halloween, or started getting the Halloween feeling at least?
We don't do Halloween in Australia.
What's that? Sorry, what'd you say, Camilla?
We don't do Halloween down here.
At all? Oh wow,
No.
I didn't know that. Sorry. I'm a little sad now for you.
I don't know what I'm missing out on, man. So it's all good.
Do you like candy and sugar and dressing up as all your favorite monsters and superheroes and basically living every dream of your life in one night? Because if you do, that's Halloween.
Man, you had some
Wow.
good Halloweens, eh?
I know,
I
right?
try. I try.
Gee, that sounds awesome.
I've had a lot of Halloweens, so.
Yeah. Ooh. Some kind of accident or something outside, man.
Was that an ambulance that was letting the noise there?
Yeah, it's so a little while ago, an old dude smashed into the back of a truck that's parked across the street. He smashed into the back of its trailer, like it was pulling the trailer, and took the front corner off of his car coming around. And the guy is super, super old, and that was like maybe 40 minutes ago, and now there's 2 fire trucks and an ambulance, and it all looks very stressful outside. Huh.
Oh no.
All right. Okay.
Not good.
Yeah, weird. Anyway, I apologize if the ambulance fires up again. Or
I wasn't sure if that was an ambulance for sure, or someone actually kind of moaning in a horror that Camilo doesn't celebrate us Halloween.
No horror, only sympathy.
Yeah, that's right. What about you, Casey? I know you got kids, right?
Yep, they have both figured out their costumes. My son's going to be Tails. There is no Sonic, he's just Tails.
Cool.
My daughter is going to be a plague doctor, and she's rigged up like a incense sensor to carry dry ice so that she can go along like casting smoke over people and stuff.
She
Oh,
is kind of
wicked.
morbid.
Yeah.
With her new pet rat.
We don't let Beef outside. Beef would
Oh.
be eaten. Beef is a
Okay.
tiny little sweetheart.
Oh, okay,
This big.
good to know.
Is Beef going to be food for legit? Like, is he for a snake eventually? Is that the plan? Or
Beef was being sold as a feeder rat, but I think Beef was bred because there's several tells. Because we do actually have proper rats upstairs.
right?
And Beef isn't showing aggression. Beef doesn't resist when you're supposed to pick up your rats daily and hold them with their arms out so that they get used to being held that way for vet offices, right?
Huh.
And then like there's no biting, there's no aggression, there's no fear response, and that's the thing they usually breed and cull for. She's also remarkably healthy, and usually feeder rats are just inbred tiny monsters.
Mm.
Awesome.
Can't say
Yes,
I've ever
he
heard
was-
that analogy for a rat.
Yeah, she was going to be eaten, and now she is not.
Hmm.
Can she cook?
Not yet.
Cool.
But then we
Rat
also haven't
ratatouille.
Yeah.
we haven't experimented with letting her ride around in a hat, so we don't know for sure yet. Not really.
I had some friends when I was like old enough to be like, I guess probably my late teens, early 20s, to think like, I don't care who you are, having a pet rat's is kind of creepy. Especially like girls, man. Girls that had these pet rats, I let them crawl all over. I'm just like, ugh, that's just gross, man.
I mean, To each their own, but they're little dogs. They're as smart as dogs. They're as affectionate as dogs. But
I'm not saying they're smart animals or anything like that, too,
Yeah.
but I don't want a dolphin rubbing all over me either. It is pretty smart, too.
That's fair.
So, I mean, like,
to each their own. That's okay.
same with ferrets. I know ferrets are like very mean animals no matter what. And I had friends that had two of them, and the ferrets ran the house. Like they had like whole tunnels built into the couch and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy, dude.
They're amazing. Ferrets.
They're very cool, but they smell so distinctively.
They do. My sister had rabbits. Rabbits smell bad too. You know what else smells real bad as a pet? And I had them. Turtles.
How dare you, sir?
I had a couple turtles for a little while. They never last.
Turtles, I mean, like any animal, as long as you look after it, they don't smell too bad. Like as long as you stay on top of it. Like turtles, though, can be brutal. I had to look after a guy's turtle once, and it was nasty. Like I hated it. Yeah, it was a big job. It was a big turtle, and it was a big tank. And man, if you didn't stay on top of that, it was out of control.
I just had little small ones, but yeah, they do kind of smell no matter what. And if you handle them, you have to make sure you wash your hands in that because they can make you super sick. They have like a bacteria or something on them.
Yeah, it's like salmonella, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Don't let the turtle lick your eyeball, son.
Really?
I feel like you should not lick the turtle's eyeball as well.
No, that's a frog, not a turtle.
Eyeball, son. Yeah.
You gotta lick Napoleon Bonafrog for that. What's everybody's favorite iteration of the turtles? Like I like all the turtles, but I'll always be like a 90s turtle guy, like the cartoon and the original movie, right? So
well, for me, it's like totally on topic, but it would literally be the era from around the time that the game came out in like 1986.
Right. So like the original Mirage stuff.
Yeah, like before for me, actually, it probably wasn't even the original Mirage copies themselves, but it would have been the full color first edition ones that Steve Levine colored in the old days, like with the Dr. Martens, inks and like. So we would have had those graphic novels when they first came out. I was probably like in the 4th grade, so I would have been around 9, like 8.5, 9 kind of thing.
You're a pretty cool kid, man.
Well, we loved that stuff, man. I mean, my friends were all like X-Men people, and I just kind of had whatever I could get, and I did a lot of shopping out of the quarter bin, and my Marvel stuff was all like the Thing and the Hulk and Thor and stuff like that, Spidey, Fantastic Four. But yeah, the Turtles was a whole new thing, and because the game offered the ability to create characters, and that was like the ripe, fresh time in my life when that's the kind of thing I wanted to do. I just kind of figured out how to draw some stuff and how to build structures for figures, and was able to roll up characters at random and kind of work with the tools the book provided with, and it was super cool. So that would be my favorite iteration of the Turtles. Would be that era, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mine's definitely Mirage. It's
Yeah.
always been my favorite. Just that was like the first comic book I ever saw in a comic book shop was the black and white turtle books.
Nice.
So that was like the big thing. Like I remembered seeing Batman and stuff like that at like the supermarket, but the first time I ever sat foot in a comic book shop, blown away seeing black and white Ninja Turtles, and it's always been my favorite. Like I think Kevin and Pete like created an amazing masterpiece when they worked together, and then bringing in Jim and Steve and everybody else, and then letting pretty much everybody play in their sandbox was just insane. Like some of those Mirage stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then like now, like honestly, the 2012 cartoon, the Nicktoon, the Zero cartoon, was really big for me because me and my stepdaughter really bonded over that, and like that'll always hold like a special place in my heart. Like last year granted, getting to meet Ciro and talk to him, and my daughter was actually there for it, was pretty awesome. So
Danny Harrell's watching, and he just commented his favorites are the Michael Bay ones. So I asked him to leave. So.
tell me, should be watching Philly lose.
Or are they losing right now?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay. I know you're still sour because you're a big Pittsburgh guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right though. The Pirates, I might never see them win a championship in my life, so it's okay.
Were you watching them when Barry Bonds used to play there?
Yeah. I'd actually just moved here, and because I actually grew up outside of Boston.
Oh, okay.
We moved here in like early '91, so he was still here.
Right. Mike, I know you're the only other Canadian in the room here tonight, I believe, but you had a good Thanksgiving?
You know what? It was nice because it was just Erica and I. We didn't see our family at all. Erica's family lives kind of too far away, and my folks just didn't really have it this year. They were kind of just tired, I think, and didn't want to have a whole big thing. So it was a very quiet. It was probably the first time that there's been no family gathering at all since COVID. And
Right.
Erica and I ordered Swiss Chalet, and they botched our order, and it was like, a perfect cherry on top of a month well. A month that beat us up well. It was a final fuck you, happy Thanksgiving. But it was okay. Yeah, it was okay. It was nice to have a treat, even if they messed it up. Like, thanks for all the extra green beans. Really wanted those instead of stuffing and fries.
Oh, come on.
But it was okay.
maybe Erica actually phoned and changed the order and then just blamed it on them. Oh, darn. They forgot the fries and stuffing. I guess we'll have to eat those green beans.
We probably would have made a complaint or something like that, but they were so late delivering it also that it just became like now we have to call them back, and like, who cares, like it was that kind of thing. So
was it regular, like, delivery from them, or was it like one of those like DoorDash skip the dishes type of things?
No, it was directly from them. We
yeah.
don't order out food hardly at all, so it was like, let's do that for Thanksgiving because it's kind of like turkey dinner.
Sure.
And it was not kind of like turkey dinner, but it was okay. I just miss having my mom's turkey dinner because it's crazy, and I know Erica like never gets to see her for Thanksgiving specifically because they live so far away, and it's kind of a shorter, it's a long weekend, but it's kind of a shorter long weekend than say Christmas or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, it was all right.
I'll ask you Americans in a month and a half how your Thanksgiving was.
As long as there's football and turkey, then it's going to be perfect.
That sounds pretty appropriate. Has everybody checked out Loki so far? The new Loki season 2?
Oh, did that release already? I'm so far out of the loop.
I don't know. I think there's 2 episodes out. I've seen one. No,
I haven't seen it. I didn't get through the first Loki season series, and I kind of off the Marvel brand the last couple of years, to be honest. The Secret Wars thing, the Secret Invasion thing, kind of pissed me off. So I
didn't even watch it.
The AI art.
I just couldn't. After that, I was like, if they were willing to do that at that level, at that platform, at that venue, and to have that many viewers just be able to just accept it and eat it, then that tells me everything I need to know about what they plan for the future. And there was a lot of blowback on it for sure, but I don't think it's the kind of thing that really makes a difference when dollars and cents get involved. And it's just kind of been off my. It's been off my list of things to care about basically since then. So
I haven't seen it. I never watched Secret Invasion either. So, Danny Harrell wants to know: has anybody seen the 2 new episodes of Doom Patrol? I've never seen any episodes of Doom Patrol, but I hear it's a wonderful show.
It's so good.
Yeah, I heard that show's awesome. I've never seen it either.
Me either. It's just one more show I hear is awesome, and then I never think about it again.
Yeah, it's a show that like you watch the first 2 episodes and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but everybody said I should watch it. So then you watch episode 3 and like you get into the actual arc of things and it gets good.
Nice.
Like there's like how many seasons of that show now? 3, 4, 2?
That I couldn't tell you without
Definitely more than 2, I think. And that's one of those shows that because it's a DC product, you hear it gets canceled and not canceled and canceled. Like it's been on a few different networks as well, right? Oh, it's got 4 seasons, it says.
Hey, let's poll the audience. Does DC have any idea what the fuck they're doing? Because I
No. Now their big thing is they're not having Jason Momoa play Aquaman anymore. Now they're gonna have him playing Lobo.
Yeah.
Okay, so A, he would make a really good Lobo, but B, just have him play both.
I'm just like, I'm okay if he wants to be Lobo and stuff, but I'm like, I'm sure there are other actors out there in the world, besides these 5 actors. Like,
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I remember when they were filming some scenes of Aquaman and Justice League here in Toronto. I remember there was a lot of rumors around the time before Aquaman had been revealed that in fact what they were shooting was a Lobo stuff with him as Lobo. I don't think they were expecting all the tattoos and whatnot to be. No one had seen the designs of Aquaman at that point, so
right.
But there was like leaked photos and leaked chatter basically coming out of people who were involved or near working with the studio where things are being filmed, and so I've always kind of thought that he was going to end up as Lobo. I remember once at a show in Montreal, sitting with Simon Bisley and a few other people, and Momoa actually sat down at the table. And they kind of had a brief chat about like, what do you think about it? What do you think about Momoa as Lobo? What do you think about this happening? And I think Simon seemed super into it, but he was also like, I don't know, he's kind of skinny,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was I don't know. I think he's not a bad casting. It's but yeah, I don't know why we need to see him as another.
Just again, it's like Chris Evans.
It's a different universe, though, right? It's a whole different DC universe.
I guess so,
right? So,
but I mean, like it's like Chris Evans with Captain America, right? Before he was Captain America, he was Johnny Storm for a couple of movies
for
too,
sure,
right? So,
and I actually thought I was going to have a hard time with him as Johnny Storm, with him as Captain America, because he was so perfect as Johnny Storm. Like, I hated those movies, for a lot of reasons I won't get into. But Johnny Storm was actually kind of perfectly cast in those films because he was such a perfect asshole to Ben, and they tapped into that part of his character, which is essential.
Yeah, it was. Again, he played both well.
He was also Casey Jones too.
He was Casey Jones as well.
The 2007 cartoon movie, the Imagine movie.
Oh no shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool. And with the guy that plays Arrow, Arrow and
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, he was Casey Jones for 1 or 2 movies as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so I used to have a joking fan theory about the Michael Bay movies that involved him, which was that the Michael Bay movies were written by like the 2012 Turtles sitting around a table bullshitting with each other. And like every time they tell the story, Splinter is like Shredder is like half a foot taller and he's got more spikes on him, and of course they're all gigantic, and of course they all have like sick tattoos, and of course, all of these weird discrepancies and things are teenagers exaggerating about themselves, and that just made me giggle.
I still never saw those movies.
No, me either.
The set, direction and art direction is fantastic. The people making it were obviously doing their best and loved the content. The actual plot and dialogue is, it's a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I expected less than nothing. I just never seen it, so I wasn't sure. I haven't heard anything good about it really, but that's the first I've heard of any good.
Is
But,
it is it on a scale of better or worse than Ninja Turtles and samurai suits in ancient Japan? Episode movie number 3.
Well,
'Cause that was pretty bad, that one.
The second Bay movie wasn't bad. I thought that it actually felt like an 80s cartoon episode. They really nailed Bebop and Rocksteady with how they did it. And then they kind of retconned some of the crap that they did in the first one, but it was a little bit too late because they still had the giant monster, massive, freak-looking turtles, which, I mean, they're mutants, turtles, so, I mean, kind of fits, but it's not our beloved design, and everybody is so skewed from the original movie from the 90s that if it's not a Muppet Jim Henson suit, it's crap. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't they
Okay.
make them-
So speaking of Halloween and Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that the Jim Henson Creature Shop is doing the animatronic suits for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
No. What is Five Nights at Freddy's? I've never asked that question because I didn't want to sound dumb. What is that? Is it a video game?
So it started out as a video game. It was supposed to be this guy's last attempt at video games because people kept, he made indie game after indie game after indie game. He was trying to make educational games, right?
Uh-huh.
He's a guy lives out in Utah on a farm with a whole bunch of kids. I'm sure you can get an idea of his personal ideologies, right?
Okay.
But, people kept saying, the way you create your characters is creepy. The gameplay is simplistic. Give it up, go home, go back to the bike shop, Orville, right? And so for his last game, he says, all right, you know what? You said my stuff was creepy. I'll make it creepy. And you play as a night guard who is trying to keep these animatronic creatures out of the office. And they're just go ahead.
My take from just what I've seen and stuff, it's like a supernatural Chuck E. Cheese's type of thing.
Basically, yeah. The machines are haunted by the ghosts of children murdered and stuffed into the suits.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was that creepy. Because they have like comics of it and Funkos. It's everywhere. It's huge.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, the guy tells the story entirely through environmental stuff. So it's all, what have you found on the wall? What thing comes up like every third iteration of the game that you play that gives a hint about the story? Hey, is there a pattern on the walls? And people just love chewing through it and trying to figure out what the current storyline is. And then every game or two, they change up some major part of it so that it's always a fresh piece of speculation. Like currently they're using it to talk about like AI, right?
So is it an online game or a video game like you play on your PlayStation or something like that?
Both. There's like 9 of the games now. And then
there's
like 15 books. And then there's the mobile games. And then there's the new movie that's coming out. It's a juggernaut. It's never going to die at this point.
Huh.
And then there's something that's very, very similar that Nicolas Cage is in, right? I know there was a movie or something too. Is that Willy Wonderland or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. So while the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was in developmental hell, 2 different horror movies were made to capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. One of them was Willy's Wonderland, and actually it's really amazing. Nicolas Cage is a genius, and I adore him, even when you sometimes sink into the couch from cringe. But it's so good. This on a scale of Nicolas Cage shouting at bees to Mandy. This is more on the Mandy side.
He said he made that movie, that and 3 other movies for Netflix or something like that. He signed like a 3 or 5 picture deal with Netflix just because he needed money really, really bad, and he's got no problem saying that.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but it's actually really good. And
I thought it was like a Super B movie that just really caught on or something.
It's great, man. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah,
that one was a lot of fun. The second one that was done was called the Banana Splits, and I never saw that one.
Banana Splits.
That was
like a 70s, 70s like puppet variety cartoon type of show. It's almost like Bananas in Pajamas, but with apes, right?
Yeah, but in this case, instead of being actual robots like at Chuck E. Cheese, it's people in mascot suits, and it's a guy who works on the kids' TV show who's in the mascot suit, and he goes crazy on a killing spree.
Oh,
Wow.
I saw Nicolas Cage as in that Renfield as Dracula, and he was
That's awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I thought that was brilliant, man. I thought that was a lot of fun.
It's almost like that role was like developed with him in mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't know, Nicolas Cage, regardless of whether or not the movie is good, regardless of whether or not the role is good, he commits 1,000%.
Oh, you can always count on Nicolas Cage to be Nicolas Cage every time.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah.
Sometimes he's so good and sometimes he's so bad, but he's always Nicolas Cage.
That's like in 80s, and for all of us older people here, here's a deep cut from all the 80s and 90s horror stuff. Donald Pleasure, same thing too. The bald guy, he was in the Jason movies, Halloween movies. He was the same thing too. Always putting cheesing up the screen there, always putting everything in there, even though it was always the same role every time.
Did you guys see Cabin in the Woods?
No.
Nope.
That's another good one. It's a movie about horror movies, basically. And it gets, the more you know about dumb 80s horror flicks, etc., the funnier it gets, because it's just full of references that actually move the plot along,
I know for being October, Tubi, the TV service, Tubi is great for old crappy Halloween and horror movies. There is a lot of cocaine animal movies out there now. There's cocaine cougar, cocaine shark, cocaine.
Cocaine cougar sounds like a totally different genre of film.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. Cocaine. I think it was cocaine Bigfoot. I'm just like, wow, that's really fucked up. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what a cocaine shark is though.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to speculate that it is a shark who is just totally fucked up on cocaine.
Actually, no, I did read about cocaine shark. I didn't read about the cocaine cougar. Cocaine shark is about a lab that was making super speed kind of stuff for the military, for their soldiers. And there was an accident and all got dumped into the harbor. And then all the sea life got hopped up on speed. So again, it wasn't even cocaine, really. So
false advertising. I'm going to write a complaint.
Yeah. Thank you. But if anyone hasn't actually seen Cocaine Bear, it actually is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, let's see. What other scary movies or schlock movies are good?
I've watched all the Halloweens already this year and the Friday the 13th. I like watching the 80s ones, like Beastmaster was a good one. Just watched recently.
I mean, Beastmaster is good for a given value of good. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's like it's easy to sneak these ones in. I've been watching a lot of Addams Family and the Munsters lately. Creepshow movies, those are good. Creepshow 1 and 2.
From the Crypt series from the 90s. The
totally. Set. Yeah.
Used to call that Schadenfreude Theater.
I love my favorites of those is Tales from the Dark Side. Those are the best. I love that show. That opening intro is like burned into everybody's head that was around in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's a question. Are the Predator movies horror movies or action movies?
Sci-fi.
What movies?
Predator.
Hmm.
Now they're just Disney movies, so.
I don't know. Prey was really good.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Was
right now, Wolverine's fighting the Predator in a comic series.
How did it take this long?
They had to wait for the property to clear.
Yeah, they had to
and wait for the ink to dry. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I never watched that show because I was just a little bit older than that group. But I heard that was a really great show, even like for young adults. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Sleepaway Camp, that's a good one too. 1, 2, and 3. I will say about the Creep shows, Creep Show 3 is horrible. That is like, it's like not even part of the franchise. Someone just got the name rights for a little while. Ernest Scared Stupid, yeah, that's a good one there as well, Danny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always watch the Disney version, the cartoon of Ichabod Crane, Headless Horseman, because that's like one of the best tellings of it. I watched the Garfield special the other night, the Garfield Halloween special from the 80s, because that's a pretty cool
nice.
one. Any of the real Ghostbuster cartoon episodes, those are all good.
Yep. Man,
Especially,
I still think about that one, the Boogeyman one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Boogeyman and the actual one about the Halloween Sam Howell or whatever his name is. That one and the Boogeyman. Yeah. Those are the two best ones.
Yeah.
Was Candlejack making fun of or parodying the Boogeyman episode, do you think, or was it just a general urban legend thing?
Candlejack?
From Freakazoid. We had the 90s one, the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
Now
I guess I have to go and watch a whole show just to see if my theories about parody are correct. These guys.
Oh, I think we're all forgetting Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is amazing.
Yep.
That's another one. Is that horror or is that comedy?
That to me is comedy. Lesbian vampire killers. What kind of movie is that? Is that one of those behind the curtain movies you had to get?
Are you just Googling scary movies right now?
No, this is the audience. This is the audience throwing out some of their best movies.
We can always count on our
We got Danny Harrell says Werewolf Bitches from Outer Space. Again, these are all movies that are behind the adult curtain, I think.
No.
Yeah. Rockabilly Vampire is another one. I'll have to check. These sound like Tubi movies for sure. Oh, one thing I did find on Tubi, which is if anybody is like a fan of like I think it even kind of predated Twilight Zone and stuff like that, is this old 50s show. It's called Beyond the Veil.
Mm.
And it has Boris Karloff as the guy that hosts and intro guy of this. It's kind of neat too. So that's neat too. Old kind of horror stories.
Did you know that they made for a little while a Freddy Krueger TV show?
Yeah, Freddy's Nightmares or something like that.
He might be the only like horror movie guy that they could put into like a sitcom situation and have the audience even remotely suggest that it was, happening for real.
Okay, he is the only guy that actually had like one of those Horror King guys that had a TV series where he was in it. But there was a Friday the 13th TV show that was horrible only in the sense that it was called Friday the 13th, but it was about an antique store that had all these cursed stuff in it. And
oh yeah.
I mean, it was a good show besides the fact that it was called Friday the 13th. It had nothing to do with it. So, because that was actually a pretty neat show.
I love that short story horror format, whether it comes in a comic book or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
I always love that kind of creep show thing. You can get into get lost in a little 20-minute story, and a lot of horror comics were like that, back in the day, and they were just fantastic. Like
the anthology stuff, yeah, I love it.
I just realized I couldn't get the arms right because I was looking at it from too low. I'm standing over the paper now.
Oh.
I hate when that happens.
Totally. Has anybody seen the Kelly Williams' comic that came out this week, the Gold Key one, the Boris Karloff one?
Oh, I haven't seen that. No, not yet.
I got it, and I reviewed it on my show. It's good. I liked it.
Oh,
It totally just gives you that nostalgic Gold Key feel.
Kelly's one of the best in the business, man.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Yep. I hope he's having an awesome. I was so bummed I didn't get to go to New York to celebrate the Eden Frost cover that I did, but also because I get a chance to hang out with Kelly because I know he was at the Mad Cave booth a lot this weekend for that Skeeter's book as well. So
yeah, that looks good. That Skeeter.
Yeah, he's wicked, man. He's such a great artist.
Do you know how your book's doing over in New York?
I don't. I've had some people send me pictures of them buying it though, and they've only made 100 of them, so that's
cool.
that's encouraging. Yeah, the series is great. I only got to read kind of notes and stuff. Didn't get to have the full issue. I had a lot of the artwork, but I didn't have any of the. It was none of it was lettered or colored when I was getting hired to do the cover, and it's just an awesome story. It's just got some really incredible Russian and Jewish mythos and just really cool folkloric stuff. And it's just a great story about a brother and a sister and in a horrible time of world history. It's an old history kind of thing, but it's really really cool if you like monsters and you know cool just cool mythology stuff. Really,
Is that your first New York Comic Con cover?
my first one. No, it's not my first for New York. No,
No.
it was my first for Mad Cave though.
Okay.
I hope to do some more stuff with them because they always have really awesome stuff
Yeah.
coming out. They've just got an amazing range of things. I got the original art for it here actually for Eden Frost. It's
Cool.
11 by 17 piece, which was just a lot of.
Beautiful, Mike.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So there is 100 of those printed, and they're at New York Comic Con this weekend. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm gonna put the original art for sale. You can either contact me about it directly, or you can contact Bob Shaw at Comic Art House. He'll probably let you know what's up.
That was going to be my next question. So thank you for saying that.
What's that? Oh, the artwork? Yeah.
Was the artwork going to be for sale? Yeah. That looks like a pretty intricate piece. What kind of man hours went into that beauty?
It was one of those ones I was really excited about. Anytime they're basically like, so we want you to just kind of draw like a giant, monster scene. And I've been lucky enough to have those exact words said to me many times for assignments when I was doing stuff for Aftershock and stuff like that. I did a lot of monster covers for them. So it's always the best news ever to get that kind of a starting point. I did a lot of roughs for that one. I did a bunch of different kind of variations of the same image, but I just got so into drawing the characters. But they're fairly complex. They took a little while, so I probably took I had lots of lead up time, so I probably took 2 or 3 days just doing different fairly tightly penciled versions of the cover, and then I sent them all in because it was my first time too. So I wanted to kind of show off a little bit or try to impress them a little bit and learned a critical lesson that every illustrator learns, which is, if you got a really good idea, don't feel like you need to pad the submission, pad the concept art. If they ask for 3 submissions, don't send them 16 because a lot of that, because a couple things can happen. One, you end up spending a lot of time on stuff that's not going to get used. And 2, if you give them that many options, 9 times out of 10, they are going to choose the one that you don't want to draw. Yeah. They're going to choose the one that's the throwaway idea that you tossed in there to make yourself look like a super champ. Yep. And, and it will bite you in the ass every time.
And you'll hate the whole time doing it.
And then you'll end up getting saddled doing a thing that you don't love. I'll be honest, that cover, I love that cover. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't my first choice of all the different roughs that I sent in.
Now,
I had a couple that I liked even more.
I've seen the cover as well, too, in New York, but I just can't remember. The color, is the cover in color or is it in black and white?
The cover, it's in black and white. The actual cover, sorry, no, it's in full color.
Oh, it is in color?
The original art's in black and white.
Right. Yeah. Now, did you do the coloring as well, or did someone else do the coloring?
Yeah, I did the coloring, yeah.
You did, okay, yeah.
I normally do the coloring on my own stuff. Otherwise, I get Danny Harrell to suffer with me and color my stuff or flatten my stuff for me at least. He really, really does have a sharp eye for it and he has good attention to detail. Yeah, great. That's why Rebels Girls look so good. You got that awesome artwork, Robert Ahmad, but then he went in there Danny went in there and did some really sweet colors, man. Really nice colors.
Yeah, I'm going to be carrying a few copies of the Josie book when it comes out as well.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
man, they crushed that.
I know.
They friggin' nailed that. Like, that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he messaged me. He's like, "Do you want to have some copies for for Nat Daddy?" And I didn't even have to see the page or see the picture before I said yes. I'm like, for sure,
for
man.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I know. I was like, damn, that's awesome. I should have a cover that I can reveal on Monday. That I image.
For image, you said?
Yeah, I'm not able to show it off right now, but I think it's coming Monday. So
is it for a brand new series or an ongoing title?
Something coming up. Yeah, something coming up. So
cool.
Was that what you were working on while you were sick, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah, that was the one that I had to kind of grind out. And luckily, it was one of those cases where I had a really solid first idea, and I submitted it, and the people in power were like, "Yes, this is going to be perfect," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So it was lucky. It doesn't always happen like that, but I was glad it did because I was sick as a dog. Yeah, I didn't want to have to spend a lot of time coming up with ideas, and sometimes when you know, like that first sketch is the one, and you just know it, Yeah.
Double thumbs up there, Danny, for sure. I'd love to see some a sneak peek at the new Sabrina stuff. You guys all know I'm a sucker for Archie stuff. Even got my Josie shirt on tonight. So,
man, wait till you guys see the crazy secret project that Danny's working on, man. You're not going to believe it. It's pretty crazy. I can't say anything else, but
he's listening in the chats. Don't worry, he's interacting with us a lot.
Yeah,
right now,
no,
so.
It's going to be pretty awesome. I think everyone's going to really dig it.
I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks for Winnipeg Comic Con. I'm finally going to get a chance to meet Dan Parent.
Oh, cool, man! Right on. Yeah, I wish I was going to Winnipeg. That's a great show. I had a lot of fun.
Yep, that's where me and you met.
Yeah, man. No, it's a great show. God, that was a blast. I really actually miss it. It's been a couple years now, so.
Yeah, this will be the second year. How about anybody else? Has anybody else got any conventions coming up or stuff they want to promote or ongoing projects that need a little attention? Go for it. This is your time. Nobody. Awesome.
Nothing.
Tonight is the night of artist ambition, I suppose.
What about you, Camillo? You got nothing going on at the moment? Just normal life, or?
I got a small convention coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But that's all the way in Australia, so I doubt many people listening can make that one.
You are coming to North America pretty soon, though, right?
I just came back from.
Oh, you just came back.
Yeah. And also, I'm doing mentioned before. I'm doing the Villantober with a few other artists, and some of them are on tags, like Steven's doing it with us and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you head over to our social media pages, we're drawing a different villain every day.
Yeah.
For all of
amazing.
Yeah, I've been seeing those. Oh, you were at Granite, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that you won the belt.
That's right, he did.
That's right. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
Seems like a subtle shot to Mike there. Oh, he won the belt, right?
Yeah.
No, it's all good
now, huh, Nathan?
The belt.
No, I knew Mike had the belt before. I've seen Mike win the belt. I've seen Mike win lots of battles. I have some more stuff I could show you guys that are just kind of cool old Nintendo crap, or not Nintendo, Turtle stuff.
Sure.
But here, it is Nintendo related. I have a copy of the original Ninja Turtle game for the Nintendo.
Oh, dude, that's so great.
I'm sure a lot of us spent hours being frustrated with that first map level.
Oh my god,
Nightmare Maker.
that game is the game will break you. It's designed to break your sanity.
But it has the most amazing artwork on it because that was like I forget which comic that came from. That it was like they used that artwork and it's amazing. So that's good.
It's Dooney's second print of number 4.
Is it is? That's what I thought. Yeah, I didn't want to be wrong in front of you guys. And then from one of the many different Ninja Turtle toys I have a what they call the black and white original but colored in version of Michelangelo with the red headband. That's a neat one.
That's fun.
I have a Casey Jones sketch from Kevin Eastman.
Mhm.
It's kind of cool. I have this from when I was a little kid, not a little kid, but I guess whatever year it came out in the early 90s. I have the full, and I collected every one of these and ate every horrible piece of bubblegum. The full Ninja Turtle bubblegum card set.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this one is awesome on 2 notes because it's Ninja Turtles and pro wrestling. I have Michelangelo as the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nice.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles, I find, is one of those things that it's been around for so long now that it's everybody knows about it and everybody can relate to it, and a lot of conversations start off as like, oh, I like this about my era of Turtles. Then your kids talk about the new movie or something, then you guys debate which one's better and that.
Oh yeah, man. It's you don't see that any more clearly than when you are at a show like Granite too, which really celebrates the Turtles. Granite State Comic Con. It was such a cool experience to see such a focused fandom. And to have fans in their 60s and 70s and fans in their all under the age of 10 and everyone in between, and these are legit like fans from scratch, like some fans going back to the very early days, like just incredible to see that. Show is very, very special. The fandom around Turtles is very special, and that's the wonderful part of it. It's that conversation. I love that conversation when people just start to go, well, what was your first exposure to it? What was your, what's your favorite take on the Turtles or whatever? I mean, everyone's got their own slant on it. Like there's elements of the kids cartoon, like the one that came out in the late 80s that I love because, I got to watch it with my little brother after I was already an established Turtles fan. I mean, when that show was starting to air, I'd already been playing the role-playing game in the same character for a couple of years with my friends. And so we lived in this, really dark, gritty world of TMNT, and then this bright, colorful world of it. Comes on TV, and back in the days when teenagers, 13-year-old boys pretty much hate everything, but I didn't hate it. You know what I mean? I thought it was great because I got to take my little brother through that journey and answer his questions, even though they added all kinds of new stuff and there was all kinds of additional characters and content. There's just something so unbelievably unique and special about the Turtles. You can't put too fine a point on it. It's just incredible, man. I
always have to chuckle because I know most people know this nowadays because there's YouTube and the internet and stuff. Nothing stays hidden anymore. But when the Ninja Turtles started playing over in England, you're not allowed to use the word ninja, especially with kids. So it's called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
That's right.
And they're not allowed to have nunchucks at all either. So that's why after the first season, Michelangelo doesn't have nunchucks for most of the time.
Huh. Interesting.
There's some countries where nunchucks are illegal, I believe.
Well, I think the nunchucks are illegal here too, but I mean, we got to realize that these are turtles and mutants.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff around. There's all kinds of stuff around children's publishing, though, that exists in both the U.S. and in Canada that really do hamper great creative projects. I mean, I spent a lot of time doing books for Scholastic, and there were things that were fine in Canada that were not fine in the States.
Right.
So they would have to print two different versions of my book sometimes. If it was a book about the Wild West, or it was a book about World War II, or if it was a book about whatever, they would very often have to make alterations to the story or the artwork because certain things were not acceptable in a children's story, right?
Were the two versions, the Canadians' version was the real history, and the Americans' version was what they wanted it to be?
No, nothing like that really. It was, but there was some just interesting stuff. Like, I did a lot of books that had Indigenous content, and as a result, a lot of the books had to get pre-screened by, a native council to make sure that nothing was, being represented, incorrectly.
Yeah, inappropriate.
But that also opens up a wide range of perspectives too, which can hamper projects even further. Sometimes when it comes to hitting that publishing deadline, and there was a lot of weird stuff like that. Like I did a book that was called Kazuma's Revenge, which was about a young samurai, avenging his murdered family. It took place in Edo period Japan. And in Canada, they only printed it once because the word revenge was not acceptable as a children's book word. So they changed it to Kazuma's Quest. But there's probably copies of Kazuma's Revenge out there on eBay that exist from that series. But just weird stuff like that.
Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Jedi was the same thing too.
Same kind of thing, I think.
While you're still talking right now, Mike, what's your favorite bad guy? Your
From
favorite turtle bad? Yeah, your favorite turtle bad guy.
Oh man, that's really tough. That's really tough. I don't know. I honestly, I loved, just from a purely visual standpoint, I loved the Triceratons. I just thought they were so cool. And you're reading a comic book about teenage ninjas beating up street thugs and gangsters and whatnot, and then all of a sudden it just kicks it into overdrive, and you're dealing with these intergalactic threats. That was like a whole new thing. And I think for me, the reason I love them so much is because, the first time you kind of see them, it's that gladiatorial combat that the guys are in, that Laird drew those pages, and I'm sure Steve colored them, and they were just out of control, man. Just so good. So good. So probably Triceratons, which is a weird kind of answer because it's not really a specific one that I latched onto or remember.
What about you, Casey?
Favorite villain. So Turtles has a lot of body horror in it. Like a lot of body horror. But I think the things that freak me out most are when there's like mind control elements, whether it's brain worms or magical brainwashing, which has come up. Like, there's been a whole bunch of different ways that Leonardo's been turned in, like, the different variations of the City at War arc. Like, Donnie and Rafa both had worms slid into their brains to try and interrogate them through that method. And it's like, that is, I don't care who the villain is, whoever it is that puts a worm in your brain or convinces you that your family is dead, that's the bad guy that I hate the most in that moment.
Gotcha. What about you, Camillo? Who's your favorite turtle bad guy?
My favorite's Bebop, man.
Bebop, yeah.
Yeah,
Bebop's
I
cool.
love drawing him.
Nice. And you, Mr. Steve, what about your favorite turtle character? Or bad guy, I should say.
Favorite bad guy, I'd probably say Rat King.
Rat King's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's so cool.
I mean, every iteration they've done of him has been pretty amazing. But like I said, I'm a big Mirage guy, so like Jim's creation was pretty awesome, and then like the fact that like he was kind of dead at the end of the book, and then he came back in City at War and taunted Splinter in his nightmares was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. I like not Splinter. I like Shredder no matter what. Shredder, I think, is always cool. I always think the main arch guy is the best guy. But I must admit, I do have a fondness for Slash. And that's
Yeah,
because
Splash is
I was
great.
like a Bizarro version of a hero. Like I like Bizarro, and so yeah. Slash is pretty cool. What's now? Like I consider the Turtles one of my top 5, favorite characters of all time, right up there with like Batman and Spider-Man and G.I. Joe and He-Man. So I would assume for most of you guys, Turtles is probably within your top 5 as well, or am I wrong?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Top 5 sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, it allows for a certain amount of flow and shifting over time because, over time, the thing you're interested in at the moment is going to vary a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, consistently top 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say they were consistently top 5 for me, only because I went such a long stretch without reading them and collecting them. But I always, always loved the, from the beginning. Like it was well rooted into me. So it wasn't like I knew it was a property that I could spend some time away from and then walk back into and be happy, where it's at. That's proven by the so many different iterations that there've been, and I haven't consumed them all, but there's quite a range of turtle stuff for sure. Different takes on them. Yeah, I think I lost track of the question though.
Your top are the Turtles in your top 5?
Yeah, I
like,
don't know
favorite
if they've been in my
characters.
top 5 all the
Yeah.
time. I think they
Yeah.
are now probably, but
Yeah.
but yeah, they haven't always been for sure.
So we'll name off your top 5 then. I would assume number 1 is Swamp Thing or Conan.
Yeah, like Conan's up there for sure. Ben Grimm's up there. Like anything Fantastic
I forgot
Four.
the thing. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm reading so little these days. Yeah, it's hard to rank it up there. Yeah, it's probably up in the top 5 to be honest. But I mean, Green Arrow was always in, Lobo characters like that I love. But I've just been so kind of comics at arm's length for such a long time that I haven't really been following. I mean, Turtles is probably the thing I've been most consistently buying recently.
Yeah.
In the last few years, but that's not saying much. Like I'm not hitting the comic shop more than a couple of times a year these days.
The main writer there that works with Kevin Eastman is getting ready to leave that series very soon, eh? Sophie Brown.
Sophie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Sophie's leaving.
A few more issues, I believe. Yeah.
She had a fantastic run.
Great run, yeah.
All the new different ideas she was bringing. I know that some of them were contentious among the fandom. Like people never like change, but I thought that it was really cool the way that she gave like a moment of space and breath after big stuff happened. Like you got to see like just enough peace and family that it mattered when things were threatened yet again.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, I love anything that opens up the possibility of more stories.
Yeah.
And the mutagen bomb going off, that's such a huge change that it allows for a lot of new stories.
Yeah, I like the Mutant Town stuff for sure. And I liked a lot of the new characters that they brought into. Like I like Jenica, the female turtle there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Sophie's really sweet too. Here, let me show you guys something. Let me see if I can find the right issue.
Okay.
So, we had a friend who was huge on the ladies' side of the Ninja Turtle fandom, right? She organized all kinds of events. She curated fan books and helped organize a bunch of different, like, sites. What is it? My goodness. Figure out which book it's going to be in. You're being so patient, all of you. But she died quite suddenly in 2021. And I mean, she had turtles tattoos. Her car was nothing but turtles. She sculpted, she drew, she did, like, turtles were her life.
Uh-huh.
and Sophie knew her, and she put her in the book.
Oh,
Side character, so she's there forever now. She's in canon.
that's cool. How did she find out about this person? Or she just knew her?
Yeah, she was involved in various groups that I was also part of.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna. I'm not trying to name drop. I'm trying to say that she did something really nice. That's all.
That's cool. No, that's
cool. Yeah.
Wow, this is gonna kill me. Somebody talk about something else while I flip through books, please.
Well, now everybody's sitting here. Just all they can think about is they want to see it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Steven, what are your kids dressing up for Halloween as, or do they not do Halloween? Are they past that age now?
Nah, I think my youngest, she's 11. She's like some giant swan-like ballerina thing with a giant tutu that's like 7 foot wide. I think. And then I don't know if my oldest is dressing up or not. She just turned 15, so we'll see. She hasn't mentioned anything about it yet, and
she'll say no to the last minute, and then when she can't find a costume, it'll be your fault.
Exactly, that's how it works. I'm used to that. That's that dad life. Being a dad girl is tough.
I would think so.
So there was a character she had set up for the managing the fighting ring, and she just slotted Winnie in, gave her the name, gave her the hair. She's there.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that was very, very sweet, and I'm going to be grateful to her forever for that. Anyway.
Sometimes people are just awesome, and it makes the rest of the people that suck just. It's the only way you can get through sometimes, knowing there is awesome people out there.
Yeah. Oh, I see what I did. This shoulder needs to be further.
How is everyone finding their pieces tonight to work on? Not too bad. Everything's going as approved. Sometimes I know the paper has a little fight. Sometimes it doesn't want to go on, the ink and that, but everything's good so far, people?
Yep. Well, I mean, I hate it like I hate everything I draw, so.
Yeah, I'm having kind of a zero consequence drawing right now. I'm just kind of playing with this, and that's important to do sometimes. I didn't really have any time to plan anything, so I'm just kind of winging it, and it's all right. I can draw barbarian turtles all day long.
What is that on the back of, Mike?
It's on the back of one of my sketchbooks. My
cool.
TMNT, my Teenage Mike's Nostalgic Trip, which is just a book of just fan art that I did of turtle stuff.
Oh, great game.
I came home.
Gets your pieces getting like a double whammy. They're getting the art book too.
Yeah, they get an art book too, and yeah, it was a fun little project to put together. I came home from Granite last year so inspired that I wanted to just kind of draw turtle stuff all the time. So I just did sketches, started doing sketches, and decided to make that my Inktober theme.
So that's all new artwork for the first time published in a book like that?
Yeah, second time published. This is actually the first edition was actually done with a kind of a goldy orange cover, and it was we had launched all the artwork and sold the sketchbook, and the sketchbook sold out because I only printed a few of them, and then this is an edition that I made specifically to take to conventions. And to have something on my table because the year was kind of a quiet year work wise. I didn't have a ton of new stuff on my table, so I wanted to make something kind of fun that Turtles fans would like. And as a result, I didn't sell a single one of these in Granite, but I gave a lot of them away. So a lot of people got some cool souvenirs while I was down there.
If people are interested in one, can they reach out to you? Do you still have some?
I've got a couple left. Yeah, I was just saving them for convention appearances, but I haven't got any of those booked at all, except I did book my room for Granite for 2024. I haven't got my table or anything like that sorted out yet, but I booked the room anyway because I definitely want to be there for the 40th anniversary. It's going to be a pretty big deal. And it's been such a great show to me the last couple of years. Can't wait to go back.
No, I always ask this because I always forget exactly where it is. Where is Granite? The
It's in
show,
Manchester, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay.
Yeah. About an hour's drive or so, a 40-minute drive or so from the Boston airport, the Boston Logan.
Okay.
It's a really nice convention, and it's a beautiful area.
It's gorgeous part of the USA. Yeah, especially that time of year. It's actually a shame the show isn't like about 2 weeks later in the fall, because you'd have all the leaves, and it would be that town's gorgeous as it is, but you'd have all the leaves a couple weeks after the show. Last Erica and I drove home just as the leaves were starting to turn, and you know the drive down there not so much, but the drive home after 4 or 5 days was just enough of a difference that we were seeing the leaves changing. It was pretty rad.
Cool. Yeah, I got to get myself a passport so I can head out and meet you guys all.
Oh man, yeah, it's definitely.
Or you guys could all come to Winnipeg at the end of the month for the Winnipeg Comic Con.
Oh, I'd love to, man. Yeah.
It's hard though because the one time I tried to go up for a convention in Canada,
Yeah.
I had a problem at customs because they were arguing about because if you go through professionally, there is a fee that you pay for each item you intend to sell.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if you have a stack of 100 prints, that could be interpreted as one stack or as 100 items, right?
Yep.
So it can be real costly.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So the thing to do is you ship everything up there ahead of time, and then you cross the border with nothing on you. You just cross the border and do customs as a person going to a Comic-Con.
There you go. I thought it's because that time you killed that guy in the bar, but
This is why nobody tells you secrets, Nathan.
I know. But I thought we were all friends here. So it's a safe space.
Is it?
No.
Though?
I don't think so, man. There's cameras all on us. How could it be a safe space?
This is literally being broadcast live.
That's what I'm saying. There's cameras all around us. It literally is not a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely get the whole fall color thing because we are not. They are getting all leaf changes and stuff as well here too. So.
Oh yeah.
Lots of nice colors. Yeah.
Excuse me. Man, name 3 things more difficult to draw than a turtle looking up. Jesus, what have I done to myself?
Yeah, they can be tricky from certain angles because their anatomy blocks other parts. You know what I mean? Like their faces, especially, it's a real challenge to draw them sometimes.
Yeah, I often wind up having to basically wireframe out where the structures are and then try to fit anything within that. So, okay, I'm sure I've told this anecdote before. You were talking about how special turtles are to you, and it's obviously same for all of us, or we wouldn't be here tonight. But like, I would not have gotten back into art if not for the turtle fan community, because I had to spend like 12 years doing nothing at all, no pencil to paper, 2 small children. I was working 3 jobs. I had nothing, right? But I had gone to school for it. It was something I loved. I wanted to keep doing it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start drawing some stuff. And like a fool, like a complete ninny hammer, I put it online. And as we all know, the internet is full of kind, loving people who only say constructive things and encourage people to do their best, right?
I do hear that.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, that is what the turtle community was like.
Like for real?
For reals. The support that I got was when I did turtle stuff, and the encouragement that I got was when I did turtle stuff. And those people themselves were the ones that got me back into practicing regularly, because otherwise I would have just accepted the ego death and found a different thing to do with my life, you know?
Were you doing like classic turtle stuff, or were you doing like your watercolor stuff, or what kind of turtle stuff were you doing?
Pretty much all kinds of stuff. lot of pen and ink, a lot of pencil. At the time, I wanted to learn alcohol markers, but I didn't have alcohol marker money. But I don't know if you're aware, you can take a little ceramic or a glass piece of glass, like a picture frame or a dish, and if you scribble on that with Sharpie, you can dip a brush in rubbing alcohol and mix it like paint to whatever shade of ink you want. And it's the fumes will kill a few brain cells, but it's really, really cool.
What is
And
what is the alcohol do? Like, what is it? How does it make it look different than regular marker or paint or whatever?
So marker, the ink is suspended in alcohol for most of them. So Sharpies, like Copics, whatever, the ink is suspended in alcohol as the medium that carries the ink into the paper, right?
Okay.
So you can reactivate it or clean it out with ink again, right? Excuse me, with alcohol. Then there's other mediums that will have the pigments carried along by oil or the pigments carried along by water, right? And as long as you are sort of staying in your lane about what the like method of transmission is, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Okay.
So Sharpies are alcohol markers. So by scribbling onto the plate and letting the alcohol evaporate off, I could just take new alcohol and wake it back up again and mix it up however I wanted.
Oh, okay.
Which was, again, fun, but definitely lost like 3 IQ points just to that.
Well, I just gained 3 IQ points listening to you, so.
Mhm.
I was telling somebody in my chair today because I said, "Oh, what are you doing after work today?" I said, "Oh, I'm going home and doing my art show," and I was telling them all about it. And I was telling them, they're like, "Oh, you're an artist?" I'm like, "No way, man! I'm not an artist at all." But I've learned so much artistic stuff, whether it's the techniques you guys use or a lot of the material you guys have used and that. And I said, if I wasn't watching the show or hosted it, I wouldn't know any of that stuff. So. Yeah, I've learned a lot just from being around you guys or listening to you guys. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Means it's working.
it is working. And then they said, "Oh, what kind of art show is it?" And I said, "Oh, tonight's show is all about the Ninja Turtles." And then they stopped talking.
Man, what is going on out there?
Is the ambulance and that still outside, Mike?
It's just police and stuff now, and
Ooh.
they got a flatbed. I guess they're gonna try to get the dude's car on. I think, but like.
Oh.
It honestly didn't look like that much of an accident. The guy kind of came around the corner. We heard a bit of a I don't know, a slow kind of groaning crunch, but it wasn't like a high impact kind of noise. And it looked like it kind of caved in the one corner, like the front right corner of the dude's car. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's been hours later. They're still dealing with it out there. So.
Do you live in a busy area? Because you always seem to have a lot going on at your house.
Yeah, I
your
live right
place.
on Lakeshore Road. Like, it's very busy.
Yeah.
Right near the lake too, so it's near the downtown, and it's right on a street corner. So, and it's right where the beer store is. So there's just a lot of activity all the time. So.
Okay. Steven, watching you, I forgot that your art style is all the crazy lots of little dots and that. What is that called again? I know that has an actual name for that technique.
Stippling.
Stippling. Okay, yeah. I like that. That's neat. What's on the rest of the agendas for your weekends, people? What's Sunday got for you guys?
Gonna work on this puppy.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true, right?
I have.
Go ahead.
No, I no real plans. Just got to come up with some ideas for I have another cover due at the end of the month or at the beginning of next month, and I don't really have a plan for it yet. So I might just kind of mess around tomorrow a little bit and sketch and doodle, which is something I don't get to do very often. So that's my plan for tomorrow.
And is that a future cover that you'll be making an announcement about, or a different?
Yes, yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's not front for a little while, but
Okay.
the artwork's due next, like early November, and I think that means it'll probably be coming out a couple months later or a month later or something. So.
Oh, so that's separate than the announcement you were talking about earlier tonight.
Oh yes, yeah. Monday's a different thing that's already done. Yeah.
Oh,
tomorrow,
okay, yeah.
tomorrow will be spent doing something new, hopefully.
Cool. So we got 2 announcements coming up.
Hmm.
I'm liking the Viking shredder a lot.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I like how that sword just kind of stands out in the front a little bit more.
Mm.
I really see that. Sweet. We had somebody ask us in the chats a little bit earlier about will these pieces be up for auction or later on in the week. And I know we had the administration reply that Tags is not hosting the auctions anymore, but the pieces are going to be available through the artists themselves. So
Yeah.
they are still available. So just stay tuned for that.
Mine will be available in about 45 minutes.
There you go.
If I had had more warning, I would have maybe done something a little bit more elaborate or bigger plan. Like I want to do another fake cover. Might as well do. There's so many Turtles books coming out that I don't hear about until the covers are already done. I might as well just do fake covers now all the time and just see what happens because I have there's no rhyme or reason to it. It seems like I had no idea they were re-releasing that Mirage issue 1 with like was it like 105 new covers or something crazy like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, all those SMZ ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're a lot of whatnot stuff, and yeah, it's just crazy. I was blown away. I didn't even know they were coming out. Hadn't heard of them, but I've been out of the loop for a long time. I was working with a couple of retailers specifically for a long time, like kind of exclusively, and when they all stopped doing covers last year, it just stopped all the work. So it also stopped the information train for me in terms of like what was coming out, what was being offered, made available as retailer exclusives and things like that. So I always find about everything way too late now, all the time.
Lots of turtle stuff always coming out.
There's so much turtle stuff all the time. It seems.
Yeah. Spin-offs from Last Ronin and all kinds of
wild
stuff.
Last Ronin stuff coming out. I would have loved a piece of that action, absolutely. And like, there's a Space Usagi. Come on, man.
Yeah,
someone out there listening right now has a comic book shop, and they want me to do a Space Usagi cover for them, and they know they do.
They
They
just had a one shot this week, a brand new Space Usagi,
I know.
where they introduced his daughter. It was a neat story the way that they showed that one this week, the Space Usagi, because even though it was a Space Usagi book, the whole book itself, right to the last page or so, was actually just told as a regular Usagi Yojimbo story, and you find out it's the Space Usagi's daughter in the future reading a manga about her great grandpa or whatever. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
I thought I saw that Thundercats is coming too from Dynamite.
Yeah, Dynamite's bringing, and
Declan Shalvey and
yeah.
Drew Moss. Like Declan Shalvey is one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's at the writing, that's incredible. But Drew Moss, I know, is just one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Just a great artist, and he was working on the Gargoyle stuff. He's a perfect artist for Thundercats, absolutely.
Yeah, they announced a few properties with that. The Powerpuff Girls as well, I think, was another one. And
I'm telling you, they got to get Hugh Rookwood on Thundercats.
yes. Also, what is that? Biker Mice from Mars is with this other group, Marcel or Nancel, I believe it's called now. They got a bunch of properties all together as well there. A lot of that 90s stuff like Sectors.
Oh, nice.
The cows from Moo Osa or whatever, those cowboy cows.
Moo
SWAT
Mesa.
cats, stuff like that. No,
Sectars was early 80s, actually. I have
that one was yeah, for sure. I love that series. I had a couple of those toys actually as a
Yeah,
kid.
I got a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you got the GI Joe and Transformer stuff building brand new over in the Skybound world. There, that's been really good so far.
That one, like I was looking into variant covers for that one. That one, it's like there's like a list of people who are allowed to be on that book, and if you're not on that list, that's it. You're not on that book.
Yeah.
And I was kind of blown away, but there's like it's down to like it's less than 20 artists, I believe, are actually authorized to do covers for GI Joe and Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to keep a pretty tight grip on that property, I think. But I saw that Daniel Warren Johnson drawing Optimus Prime on a sketch cover, suplexing Megatron, and I thought, all right, yep, I'm all over it. You know?
Well, he does that great series, do a power bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where that all fit in there for sure. Because in a panel or two before that, he clotheslined somebody, Optimus Prime, the same thing. So.
Yep.
I mean, his Murder Falcon book was amazing.
True that, yeah.
Really good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't even really been a wrestling fan that long. Like he actually admitted that in his when he was writing about the Duo Powerbomb series, how he kind of got into it and then just really got into it, especially the New Japan stuff, and inspired of the book. And he's note perfect with that storytelling and the kind of story he's telling with that wrestling book. Mm-hmm. It's like I was surprised to hear he hadn't been a fan that long because he really gets it.
Yeah, that's a great series and great art.
He does really cool commissions, really nice pieces.
What's the best way for somebody to reach out to an artist to get a commission if they're not sure? Is it just through Instagram or just Google up like on the internet and see if they have a web page or?
Yeah, I mean, it never hurts. Like if you're following that person or if you're supporting that person, via their shop or via their Instagram, I don't think it hurts to reach out and, try to do like a more personal DM. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the best way to do it is. There's lots of different ways for sure to connect with people. I think a lot of artists are I can't only speak for myself, but there's a lot of people who are actually interested in doing a lot more work in commissions these days. The scramble to find work in the comic industry has been kind of crazy. So I think there's probably a lot more openness to commissions these days.
Sure. And like you said, just the fact that it is easier to get a hold of somebody. Like you go back before Instagram or something like that, like how else would you ever meet an artist or interact with them besides at going to a con or if they came into a comic shop and was signing one day or something?
Well, a lot of artists have reps and stuff. A lot of artists are so, especially the ones who are really busy doing like drawing monthly books or whatever, like a lot of them get reps because they can't manage. It's a difficult thing. Like I've got people waiting commissions for me for a long time, but I don't take any down payments because I know that my schedule can change at any moment. And I know that I can have a person who's waiting a long time. I've got people right now who are waiting 3 and 4 years for commissions already. And that embarrasses me, but it's not money that I owe them at least. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just like they're on the list. I'll get to it when I get to it kind of thing. Yeah. But it's really tough to do. So I think that's why a lot of artists get reps to manage those orders so that they can just keep on focusing on getting their book done. Because, comic industry can, you kind of pick up a bit of a head of steam, and next thing you know, you're very busy. And that's not just comics; that's just illustration as well. Like I've worked for children's books companies, and you knock out that first book, and they love it, and next thing you know, you're doing 6 books for them, and it's the best thing ever. But you didn't have 6 books planned into your life, and now you have to make that plan work. And with comics, it's like that all the time. Like, and stuff starts to take off, it really starts to take off. When stuff goes to sleep, it's like it's dead. You know what I mean? So it's a very weird industry that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you banging on your desk made me think there. That reminded me, I was thinking earlier, you didn't get a new desk, did you? Because I haven't heard it squeak or creak or groan or anything at all tonight.
Who, me on my desk?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got some extra, like it's held together by a wish and a prayer right now, but I've got some extra padding on it.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of cushioning the movement a little bit. And
Ugh.
my desk is still a terrible mess, but I took about 70% of the crap that was on it off today. And it's a little bit better now.
Well, I was worried there. I thought maybe you replaced your old desk there.
No. No, this desk has too much magic loaded inside. I can't get rid of it. My wife sniped this desk at an auction for me, and it's too awesome to get rid of. But yeah, well, I do need a new desk. I do. This one's in pretty bad shape now. The soothing sound of pointillism.
Yeah, I was just gonna say anyone else could hear it. That's when you're doing something like the stippling there. Like, how long will the rest of that picture take you to do there, Steve?
It just depends. I can go pretty fast when it comes to stippling. Once I have like the established shot of the shadow and everything, and how small I want to go. Because if I add like a different size nib, it gives it even a more of an in-depth like lighter tone.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on how much I want to go into it. Like some of my pieces, I've gotten like really detailed and used like the 0.0005 pen nib that to an untrained eye probably don't even notice it, but me, I can spot it out from like a mile away. I'm like, oh, I screwed up and used the wrong nib there.
Oh, wow.
So it just depends on how much I want to go too deep into it. But I could probably have this done in like about 4 or 5 hours total.
Now, with that kind of effect there, I know it's for like shadowing and stuff like that, but do you do that with colors as well? I'm not saying for this piece in particular, but can you do that with colors as well, or no?
I can. I usually generally don't. I don't really like to color much, except for if I do, it's like digitally. Like Casey had mentioned earlier, alcohol markers are very expensive, and to have the full complement like I have on my tablet is almost impossible. So I just will digitally color anything easier because I can literally pull every single Copic marker right off and use on with the tablet. So
Okay. And do your kids think it's cool that you can draw Wicked Ninja Turtles, or they don't care?
my youngest does.
Yeah.
My oldest at one point was very like into it. She's actually the reason I got back into drawing because, like I said, me and her were watching the 2012 cartoon, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I used to be able to draw stuff like that, and she was like, no, you can't. I was like, okay, so I went and dusted off the Bristol and drew her a Ninja Turtle, which she still has hanging on her wall.
Aww.
Nice.
Cool.
Like so, like it's been like a very good thing, bridging moment having the turtles with them and everything. So, but my youngest is really enthralled with the fact that I draw and that I'm on live streams and stuff.
Have they taken up the artist skill as well, or no?
A little bit. They do some stuff, but they get really frustrated real easily. Especially my 11-year-old, because she'll argue with me. Well, I'm not as good as you. I'm like, dude, I'm 42. You're 11. Like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, they
You're not going
want
to be able to do it right off the bat.
they
Well,
want
I
those
think-
instant results. They want that instant satisfaction of.
Well, that's the problem with the new generation is everything's so easy to them with fingertips on programs and everything. They can get
Oh,
the
yeah.
answer so fast, and when they can't do something right away, it's like end of the world. And
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm going to point it from a different perspective. It's not that many things are easy. I think the problem is the fact that, okay, because I'm sure that we all occasionally struggle with this, but this is the way my kids' entire lives are. You know how on social media you're always seeing everybody's best day? You're seeing the best moment of their best day, and you ignore all the rest, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Any kid
yeah,
who's
it's the
trying to learn
highlight
how to
reel, not
draw
the blooper
is
reel.
comparing themselves to the entire stream of art coming through,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So it can be hugely discouraging and feel like you're just genuinely not talented or that it's not something that's possible because there's A, lots of mean people on the internet, and B, there's so many talented people showing their work constantly, right?
Yeah. Even without the mean people on the internet, like there's days I have to avoid the internet because I will get so depressed just looking at other people's artwork. Like, because it just like there's a lot of. Well, it's very easy to become jealous and to become like comparison is the thief of joy. That's a very commonly used phrase, but it's true.
Mhm.
There's a couple of artists that I love. I love them as people. I love them as artists. I love them in the real world. I love them online, and I don't follow them because their work to me makes me feel like I will never uh, grow. I will never be able to achieve a certain aspect. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been doing this for over 40 years, but I've been doing it over, almost 30 years professionally. And it's inspiring to me that kind of thing never goes away. Like that kind of like fan worship, on that level of that art journey level. I mean, that has to be there. That's how we keep on growing. That's how we keep on getting better, is by always wanting to be better than we are right now. But sometimes it's just the weight of it's very heavy for me, and I just avoid my favorite artists online sometimes because of that reason.
It's the same for myself with hair. Being a hairdresser, I don't go looking at other hairdressers' work online or anything like that because you're just there to destroy yourself. And if you're doing stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
nobody's putting up their bad mistakes, right? And if they are, it's getting made fun of, right? So
Well, that's why I always try to share my shitty drawings too. Like I always try to share my shitty experiments that fail because
yeah,
it's worth noticing that that they're not always good days. It doesn't always flow out like magic, and the times when it does is actually so rare. But that's an illusion that we all try to cast with our work, right? That's a I think that's part of living your life online as an artist.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
the other thing I think is that living your life online, uh, there's there's that expectation of showing people, right? You don't work in private, you don't practice in private, right? Pixar, it didn't happen, right?
Mm.
If you're drawing, it has to be shown somewhere, or else you're not drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means you have to do all of your growth in front of everyone, and that's got to be so unbearably intimidating.
You ever had to work a whole day in front of a window? I work in a salon where we have that where there's chairs that are literally in the front of the window, so you're on display all day.
Oh yeah, I used to do murals, man. I remember doing murals and being at a location for weeks and just like having people stand there and just make their commentary like you're not
Yeah,
even there,
yeah,
You're up on a scaffolding painting a terrible looking Santa Claus because you're getting paid, you're getting paid enough to buy your night's dinner, and you have to do this giant mural, and it's like you know yeah, it's tough. It's very
sure,
tough to
yeah.
be on display and do it like that. I don't know. It's like setting up a Comic Con for the first time. That first time you get that imposter syndrome kind of thing that happens. It's real, man. It's a real heavy
Oh,
feeling.
it's very intimidating for sure.
Yeah.
We are getting close to the end of our 2 hours here now because we do have that 2 hour format compared to the 3 hours. So I know you guys. I know Mike's almost done, but the rest of you are still got some work to do. Everybody can find their. Well, I'm going to ask you guys, where can they find this fabulous work afterwards? I know it is going to probably get posted and shared around, but where are the deets where they can find you and your fabulous works? Casey, you're on the screen, so why don't you tell us?
Yep. So Casey Wilson Art on all the things, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Does the chat think I should post progress pics again since my stuff takes a little bit longer than you incredible speed demons?
I just saw a heart pop up in the chat, so I don't know if that was for that exact moment or not, but we'll say sure.
Okay, cool.
Because you were just talking about how people don't show their work unless it's perfect. So you could show
Everyone
your work.
loves the process, man. Everyone loves that stuff.
Cool. Well, then
Yeah.
I will do that.
There you go. Artist number 2 is Steven. I know we talked about your stuff a little bit, but where can they find your fabulous piece of work when it's ready for auctioning?
You can find it on artist Stephen King. I'll post it in the Things Are Sketchy. I'm not really big on auction, so I mean, I can put it up for auction, or if somebody wants to offer up for it. If not,
Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be auction. Whatever you guys want to do nowadays. Like if you just want to have a straight up price for it, whatever. Yeah, I just said auction because that's what I'm used to
because I
saying.
still have the Lobo Wolf from last week still available that I finished.
There you go.
From Alma Good Night. So
there you
if
go.
anybody's interested, shoot me a message. I'm cool. Whatever.
There you go. Artist number 3, who's always so quiet, and I always feel bad because I can never get him to talk more. But Camillo, where can they find your piece when it's ready?
Sorry, man. Like, I'm usually pretty talkative, man. Like, it's so hard on these shows because I wake up so early compared to what I usually do.
Oh, I'm not judging you or giving you shit or anything.
Yeah. You can find once I'm done, I'll post it on my Facebook, which is Camillo Art, and my Instagram, which is Instacam. So yeah.
And is your model underneath the Shredder costume there? Is it Kevin Nash, like the Super Shredder?
It could be. It could be.
It kind of does look like that. And Mr. Ruth, I got a question before you can give up your deets. With the orange background there, does that make that Ninja Turtle Michelangelo?
I don't know. I just like that orange to cut figures out. I was just going to actually use only that orange and leave the rest of it black and white, but I didn't have enough time to start another piece. And I think you can leave that to your interpretation.
Sure.
He's got a red axe handle, so who knows? Who knows?
And where can people find this great piece when it's ready? Or it is ready, I guess.
I'm probably going to post this up very shortly. I'm just going to add some highlights, and then I'll post it up on my Instagram. And there'll be a sister post on Facebook, and you can bid in the comments. It'll be starting at $25, I think, because that's what the book costs. It's a 40-page book or 28-page book or something like that. But it's got a bunch of Turtles drawings in it, and if you're a Turtles fan like me, then you might enjoy the book. I don't do any color ones. This is my first one in color doing one of these. So, yeah.
Special piece from a special guy.
Oh, thanks.
All right, everybody. I always enjoy hosting the show, especially on Turtle Night, and especially with you four. Artists can stick around for a couple seconds, but all our viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed it tonight. Do check out everybody's Facebook pages and Instagram pages over the next few days for progress and to get these pieces if you are interested in it. In other words, Saturday night is over. We'll see you all next week. I'll be here in 2 weeks, and Stefan will be back here next week. So peace out, everybody.
Bye.
All right, later. Thank you.
Good.
Good night, all.